Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here with Gavin Landry, who's Executive Vice President Americas for Visit Britain, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Britain today, what the trends are, and what's going to happen in 2018. And this is Insider Travel Report. Now, Gavin, you just joined a few months ago as Executive Vice President. First of all, what's your impression of the organization that you joined? Because before you were working for Big Apple Tourism, right?
Well, that's right. I was running I Love New York for almost 5 years. But I'll tell you, Visit Britain is an incredible organization. Around 350 people all working on the same solutions to make Britain as popular as a destination as it can possibly be. Working for the people of Great Britain, really, with 3.1 million jobs depend on tourism. It's also a very powerful economic sector, so 9% of GDP. So as you can see, it's a very important job, and the people of Visit Britain have been so incredibly kind. It's a great organization, way ahead. I would say one of the leaders in the travel vertical.
Well, I think you're the first American in a long time, if ever, to run this organization here in the States, right?
That may be true. I mean, Visit Britain has been committed to the U.S. market for a long, long time. I suppose the one thing that I may bring to the table is a deep understanding of the American consumer, because the American consumer was my target as well at I Love New York. We focused very much on what we called the rubber tire windshield market, 3 to 5 hour drive market. We focused on all of Eastern Canada. We obviously focused on international travel as well, long haul domestic as well. But that understanding of the American consumer has been handy because we are very committed to the U.S. market. We are approaching about 4 million inbound to Britain this year. If we reach that number, it would be an all-time high, and it would possibly eclipse France. So we have the opportunity to really bring a lot to the table.
Well, I was going to ask you what the numbers look like. You said you're looking at about 4 million this year, and any perspective, what do you think for next year?
Well, listen, we want the Americas to perform very well. And remember, I look after all of South and North America. We have offices in Sao Paulo and Los Angeles and Toronto, and then in New York, of course. And the markets where we don't have a representative, we have many cases a foreign Commonwealth office where we'll work with them to extend. So in Argentina or Mexico, places like that. I think there are 14 posts in America alone of the foreign Commonwealth office. So we work with our diplomacy partners all over the Americas, and the numbers are up. I mean, Brazil is tracking about 22% higher than last year, and last year was a good year. Canada, I believe, is up about 17%. We're approaching 900,000 inbound from Canada, and this is an interesting stat. 1 out of 35 Canadians go to Great Britain. 1 out of 95 Americans go to Great Britain, or last year as well, anyway. So you can see that the Canadians are very interested in the British product, feel an affinity to Great Britain. So we're really thrilled with what's going on right now. Value for money is obviously there for us.
Yeah, which is you couldn't always say that in the past, right? Yeah.
Well, that's true. I mean, but the good thing is, even tracking back to maybe 2010 when the pound was not in the condition that it is today, our numbers from the U.S. and from the Americas have been tracking upwards. So it is a really wonderful destination. Britain is a destination that still has a lot of really upside potential.
Now, what are some of the themes going into 2018 that you're really going to key on in terms of marketing Britain in the U.S.?
Yeah, so let me approach it two ways. One way is relative to how we're approaching the marketing aspect. So we're very focused on a kind of a go now, unexpected versus expected experience. It's not about a castle that'll be there for 100 years. It's about things that are dynamic, happening right now, like the Reading Festival with where the police are being, and Eminem is performing. And it's also about two major audiences for us. It's the buzz seeker, which, by the way, is not just a young audience. I say a quarter of the buzz seekers are 45 and older. It's just it's a psychographic where people like to go beyond the cities and so on. And so forth.
I'm old and I like to go beyond the beaten path. That's for sure.
As am I. And then, of course, we have our sightseer segment, which is a bit older and is a bit more inclined to stay in the cities and hit the icons and so on and so forth. Those are our two segments. Now, in terms of our product development and the things that we want to address, and what we talk about is really how can we step in for the market where the market has not done this for itself. And so, in 3 instances, we've identified 3 pillars of our product development. One is in the food and drink category. So Britain is not just about fish and chips. It's not just about bangers and mash. We have 113.
Oh, I do like those.
Oh yeah, they're good. You have to have them. But 113 Michelin restaurants throughout the whole of Great Britain. That's one. Number 2 is rail. Rail is an incredible product because we are very, very close at hand for all of our attractions. People would be surprised that in 4 hours and 20 minutes you can be from London to Edinburgh on a train. Now that's really not a great distance to travel, but people, because of the word great in front of Britain, they think that it's some vast wilderness. wilderness. It's so big. In fact, it's really not. London to Cardiff, Wales, only a couple of hours. So you can get a lot of places and discover a lot of things all in the same trip or all in the same couple of days.
Right.
And lastly, in terms of product development, we're talking about luxury. So luxury, these are kind of myths that are out there about Britain, is that luxury only exists in downtown London, and that's not true. There's luxury throughout the whole of Great Britain.
Oh yes, I know very well. There's some incredible properties, incredible experiences, right?
That's right, yeah. So those are the categories where we're building our products, and of course then marketing to those audiences, trying to identify the way that we can work with our partners and also target those audiences throughout the whole customer journey.
Now, I think also, like in the past, you've been trying to get people out of London, and what are some of the things that you're using to get them out there into the countryside, into the other cities?
Yes, well, that is exactly right. I mean, the idea is London Plus. We've had a lot of success in the recent year with the London-Edinburgh route, where people are taking in those two attractions, those two cities. We are building the product throughout the whole of Great Britain. So, for instance, in Bristol, I just experienced, I went on a Banksy walk, right? So I took a train from London, and Banksy, the home of Banksy is Bristol, and saw these great, street art from all kinds of artists, and of course Banksy himself. And it was delightful. A lovely little kind of college town, and would go back there in a heartbeat. I was really fortunate to go to Bath and then drop down to Stonehenge and catch Stonehenge all on the same trip on another couple day trip that I was there. And so really what we're doing is we're just trying to create additional awareness, and building the product so that people can get the final mile. So the rail piece, which is really incredibly important. I mean, Britain is so well connected by rail, and I think particularly for the American consumer, Americans will be surprised at the level of cleanliness, the efficiency of the trains, and so on and so forth, things that we would like to emulate here back in the U.S.
Yeah, I know, we have a problem with that sometimes.
We do, and that sometimes does give you the issue where people think, oh, would I travel by rail? Well, no, the trains in the U.S. aren't that great, so I'm not going to do that. The reality is the experience in Britain is 100% different. If anyone's interested, I did write a blog on my rail experience. I did an 11-day rail tour before I took the job, and I wrote a blog about it, and it's on our Visit Britain trade site. So if you just go to Visit Britain /trade, you'll find my blog, and you can read all about that trip. It was really lovely.
Now, you just mentioned the trade. What would you tell travel agents about how to sell Britain in 2018? What are the keys for next year, and what are the sort of the strong points and events and things like that they should sell off of?
Well, absolutely. I mean,
aside from the pending marriage of, I think it's 2 years of Prince Harry, right?
Yeah, that's exciting. That's obviously very exciting. We are very much looking forward to that. And I would tell the travel agents need to think beyond London. And the reason for that is that when you think of other destinations, like Italy, for instance, and you ask the average consumer, how many places do you know in Italy? They might name off 7 or 8 different cities. In our case, if you say Great Britain, people are stretched to come up with something beyond London. And the reality is, if you can offer that experience, if you can package up that experience, if you can work out those easy logistics that are there, and of course we have all kinds of itineraries and all kinds of products that are available, very easily bookable products, commissionable products, then you will be doing a service to your guest that you're planning for. And they'll come back to you and they'll thank you. They'll say, my gosh, I had no idea that Cornwall was so beautiful. I had no idea that Cardiff and the Wales coast was so beautiful. I mean, it's like a scene from a movie. I had no idea I could go coast steering in Wales. It's where you're jumping off of cliffs with a parachute on your back.
I've heard about that. That sounds amazing.
It is amazing. And the events that happen throughout the year, obviously we have an interest in pushing kind of shoulder season business, the spring and fall. We are very interested in really driving people to London and a London Plus experience. You could go east towards Oxford if you like. You can go up towards Yorkshire, the north of England. Manchester is a beautiful city. Birmingham not far away with a beautiful canal system. I mean, these are experiences and levels of attractions that are world class, but are not that well known yet. And so that is our mission. And as a travel agent, what you can really do to impart to your guests a wonderful experience, they'll come back to you, they'll advocate for you, is to give them that experience, that unknown, that unexpected, that bespoke, which is what everyone is kind of asking for these days. They don't want to do mom and dad's vacation anymore. They want to do their own vacation. They want to have their own holiday.
And discover a whole new Britain, right?
That's right, discover a whole new Britain.
Well, Gavin, thank you very much for filling us in on your plans for 2018. Congratulations on the new post.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice to have an American once in a while. You get an idea for the market, but good luck with it for 2018, and we're looking forward to going to Britain next year.
Thank you so much, and thanks for this opportunity, and good luck, everybody, selling Britain.
I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report.